In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace these tow mirrors on this Ford F-350. These are the factory replacement, heated and power adjusting. Let's get started. Let's start at the top of the door and remove this sail panel. Just pull on it. It's got a couple clips on the back side. Set it aside. Let's remove the mirror switch right at the top of the door panel. Use a plastic trim tool so you don't damage the door panel, and just pry it up from whichever side it wants to come up from, whether it's the front or the back. There we go. Once you have it up and out, you're going to want to unplug it. The lock on this connector is going to be on the front, and then this one right here on the back. There we go. Set this wiring harness aside, and the switch, of course. A little bit further down, let's remove the window switch. Same plastic trim tool. Pry up on it. Unplug the two connectors. And set the switch aside. A little bit further down, you'll have these two bolts that are usually covered with a cap that you can easily pry off with a plastic trim tool or a screwdriver, whatever you have. And usually there are two 8mm headed bolts in here. Mine are a little bit different. Someone's already been here, so I'm just going to remove what I have, but remove your two 8mm bolts. At the bottom of the door, there are supposed to be two more. One over here, one over here. Mine are missing, so there's nothing for me to take out, but take yours out. These are also 8mm, just like the ones on the top. At this point, just lift up the door panel and pull it away. At this point, you'd want to peel the corner of your vapor barrier back. Mine is missing, so I don't have anything in the way, but this is the connector for the mirror that we have to unplug. Use a little screwdriver and pry the red locking tab out, and then press down in the center of the connector so you can unlock it and push it away. Just feed it right through this opening. The mirror has 4 mounting nuts on. 2 you can see through these holes, but the other 2 are actually covered by these 2 grommets. Not the center one, you can leave that one, just these 2 right here. At this point, use an 11mm socket to remove all the mounting nuts. I like to leave this one on for last because the mirror is going to want to fall down that way or pull away that way. So if I leave this one for last, it'll stay bolted on tight. Try not to drop any of the hardware inside the door. If you lean the socket back as it comes off, it should stay in your socket. On the last mounting nut, it's helpful to have the window open so you can reach through it. It's easier, but you can also reach up and over to hold the mirror on. Regardless, have a hand on the mirror so it doesn't fall off. And now, slide it out of the door. Keep in mind the harness is still routed through the door. Pull the wiring harness through, and there's your mirror. Now take the hardware that's provided with the mirror, and you'll see that it has coarser threads on one side and, well, regular machine threads on the other side. That's the side that we're going to put the mounting nut on, and the coarse threads are going to go directly into the plastic molding of the mirror. You're going to start these on, and then we'll use a 10mm socket to bottom them out completely. You can see they have a cutout on them. And this is what's going to hold the mirror onto the door. There we go. When the socket starts skipping, that's how you know it's bottomed out completely. These are all installed, so let's take this and put it on the door. Now let's take the wiring harness on the new mirror and stick it right through the square cutout on the bottom of the area where the mirror mounts. Just feed it through. Then line up the studs as you get this closer with their mounting holes. And you're going to have to hold it. Have at least one mounting nut ready so that as you're holding it, you can thread it on. I recommend doing the one on the top first. You don't necessarily have to tighten it up yet. As long as it holds the mirror, that's perfectly fine, because now we can start in the rest of them. Just be very careful not to drop them in the door. And now that they're all started, let's snug them all up. I'm actually going to do this by hand. I want to make sure I apply even pressure, all 4 of these. And what you want is that gasket between the mirror and the door to squish. That's what will create the watertight seal, and airtight really, between the door and the mirror so you don't get air or wind noise as you drive or water. Just make them nice and even. And there we go. Now, let's cover this up with the 2 grommets. If you stick your fingers right through these openings, the harness most likely is going to land somewhere in this area. So if you get to it, just push it through until you get it to right here. Take it out. Make sure it goes on the inside of the window track, not on the outside. Otherwise it would go right through where the window is, and that's not going to be a good thing. It's going to cut the harness actually. So take that harness. Looks like my connector is locked, so I'll unlock it, slide it into the vehicle side plug. Make sure it clicks, lock it in, and that's installed. This is the point where you would put your vapor barrier back. Just try to stick it the best you can. You can use some tape to hold it onto the door. Once again, ours is missing, so there's nothing for me to put back here. Now let's get the door panel back on. Make sure your wiring harness doesn't get caught behind the door panel as you install it. What you want to do for this, you're going to have to lift it and push it in, making sure that all those hooks actually go in. Tap it down, feel around to make sure that it's actually locked in. There we go. If you had your 2 lower screws, go ahead and put them on now. Mine are missing, so I'm going to move on. And then the ones up top here, get those snugged up. If you had your cover, reinstall it right now. Reinstall the window switch, plug it in, and the lock switch. Drop it down. There we go. Up top here we have the mirror switch. Plug this in and drop this down as well. And of course this little panel at the top. And there we go, the door's back together.